Justice O.A. Adeniyi of the Nigerian High Court sitting in Abuja has declared that the actions of the British National Crime Agency, Crown Prosecution Service, and their officers against African billionaire businessman Mr. Benedict Peters were unlawful and constituted a common design targeted against the interests of Mr. Peters and his companies over their assets and properties, and a well-coordinated malicious operation to persecute an innocent man whose sources of income and business practices have been affirmed by numerous courts as legitimate. The judge also granted another application by Benedict Peters seeking for the court order for the British authorities, NCA, CPS, Immigration and Attorney General of different countries to be served the over 10 court judgments that have been upheld his innocence in all the trumped-up charges against his person and business. The application, which was heard yesterday, was granted in line with the judgment which was delivered weeks ago. This was contained in a judgment in suit number FCT/HC/CV/0536/2017 between Benedict Peters and 3 others versus Attorney General of the Federation and 6 others. The respondent, which included the Attorney General of the Federation, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), National Crime Agency and Crime Prosecution Services, and their officers Helen Hughes, Stacey Boniface, and John Bavista, while the applicants are Mr. Benedict Peters and his companies Collingwood Limited, Rosewood Investment Limited, and Wolfworth Properties Limited. The court further declared that the unlawful means of conspiracy of the defendant was to extract by intimidation, coercion the asset, properties, and monies to which the claimants are legitimately entitled. In a bold move, the court also awarded damages of 200 million naira, approximately about 200,000 British pounds, in favor of the claimants against the defendants jointly and severally for the unlawful interference, economic loss, loss of corporate goodwill from creditors, expropriation of personal assets, and proprietary rights of the claimants. Also in the same direction, the African billionaire businessman and CEO of AIETO Group, Mr. Benedict Peters, yesterday has for the 10th time secured another judicial victory in his battle to prove his innocence in all the allegations leveled against him by Nigeria and British authorities connected to the ongoing trial of former Petroleum Minister Diezani Alison Madueke. In yet another order granted yesterday, Justice Adeniyi of the Federal High Court granted the prayers of Mr. Peters and his companies for the service, registration and enforcement of the judgments in foreign jurisdictions. In the motion marked M/13598/2023, Mr. Peters and his companies, through their counsel, Emeka Ozwani, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, sought an order granting them to live, serve, and register and enforce the judgment of Nigeria courts to competent jurisdiction on natural persons and legal entities resident in countries contained in the schedule of the motion. Countries in the schedule include United Kingdom, United States, Ghana, Canada, Nigeria, Netherlands, and France. Mr. Peters went ahead to list 7 judgments of court, all of which have indicated to be served. The judgment listed are Benedict Peters versus Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and Attorney General of the Federation, suit number FCT/HC/BW/CV/23/2017, Moses Uya versus Benedict Peters, suit number FCT/HC/CV/0093/2017, Chief Akimoju Jero versus Mr. Benedict Peters, and Northern Belt Oil and Gas Companies of Nigeria Limited, suit number FCT/HC/CV/0091/2017, Mr. Benedict Peters and 2 others versus Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and 2 others, suit number FCT/HC/CV/2935/2020, in the matter of an application by the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, suit number FCT/ABJ/CS/228/2072. Suit number FCT/ABJ/CS/228/2016. The Incorporated Trustees of Forum for Accountability and Good Leadership versus Nigeria Police Force and 2 others, suit number FCT/HC/CV/3060/2019, and Benedict Peters and 3 others versus Attorney General of the Federation and 6 others, suit number FCT/HC/CV/0536/2017. Mr. Peters also said the listed cases are judgments in rem, that is against the whole world, and hence are enforceable against natural persons and legal entities in all jurisdictions of the world. By this order, when the judgment is served and registered in the various listed jurisdictions, they will have equal force of law as though the judgment were made by a court in those countries and will be enforceable against all natural persons and legal entities in those countries. This is a major judicial victory for Mr. Peters and his companies. Mr. Benedict has been in and out of court since 2015 following allegations of malfeasance against him by the EFCC and UK investigative agencies, but so far, in about 10 cases since then, he has come out victorious, and there have been suggestions that those who are after him are those bent on taking away the oil mining license OML 29 with the adjoining Nembe Creek trunk line from him. The license has turned out to be one of the most lucrative in Nigeria. During the main trial of the suit, the Crown Prosecution Service and the official Helen Hughes were represented by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. The AFCC was represented by its own counsel. Both counsels have promptly filed their respective appeals to the Court of Appeal, with the offices of the Attorney General filing a motion to delay the payment of 200 million naira damages. Mr. Peters and his companies were represented by a group of lawyers led by Chief Mike Ozekome, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. It will be recalled that following the investigation of Diziani Alison Madueke, the officers of the British NCA and CPS have been hounding him, trying to take substantial part of his properties, including the OML 29 oil well and all the monies in the bank accounts. This warranted his going to court 6 years ago, and having just gotten this respite, NCA and CPS are restrained from attaching his name, his properties, or those of his companies in their scheme.